This is a message from a viewer named Craig, and when I finished reading his story, I actually laughed out loud, not because it's funny, but because Craig Ellison might be the first man I've ever heard from who went into a Pattaya bar relationship with his eyes wide open from day one. This isn't your typical British guy loses his life savings to a Thai bar girl story. It's the opposite. Because Craig didn't go to Thailand looking for love or a fresh start or to escape loneliness. He went there specifically to see how the scam worked. He'd watched two of his mates get cleaned out. One lost £40,000, another £25,000, and Craig decided he was going to play the role of the naive, lonely foreigner perfectly, let the bar girls think he was an easy mark, and document exactly how they operate. For 8 months, he pretended to fall for a woman named Honey, who worked at a beer bar on Swai Buakau. He listened to her sob stories, watched her tactics evolve, gave her just enough money to keep the scam going, and the whole time he was following her after she left his hotel, asking around about her boyfriend, tracking how many other foreign men she was running the same game on simultaneously. What Craig discovered wasn't just one woman scamming one man, it was an entire ecosystem of coordinated operations, practice scripts, and women maintaining 3 to 6 foreign boyfriends at the same time, each sending money from different countries, each believing they were special. This is about what happens when someone who grew up street smart in Salford decides to study the Pattaya bar scene like it's a sociology experiment, and what he learned could save thousands of men from losing everything. What you're about to hear might make you cynical, maybe even sad about human nature. But if you're thinking about going to Thailand, or if you're already there in a relationship that's starting to feel scripted, Craig's story might be the reality check you need. Because if even the professional scammers couldn't spot that Craig was playing them, then these operations are more refined, more patient, and more coordinated than most men realize. My name is Craig Ellison, and I need to tell you about the 8 months I spent in Pattaya, pretending to be the perfect mark while documenting one of the most efficient scam operations I've ever seen. But before you judge why a 49-year-old bloke from Manchester would waste 8 months of his life on this experiment, you need to understand what happened to my mates and why I decided someone needed to actually document how this works from the inside. While you're watching, let me know where you're tuning in from. I always check the comments. And if these stories resonate with you, there's a little super thanks button below. Totally optional, but it helps me keep telling stories like this that most people are too ashamed to share. If you've been enjoying the stories I tell, please consider hitting the subscribe button. Your support is crucial for the growth of this channel and helps me dedicate time to making these videos despite my commitment to a full-time job. Thank you for being here. Picture this: Manchester, England, 2022. I'm 49 years old, sitting in a pub with my mate Dave, listening to him explain how he just lost £40,000 to a Thai woman he met in Pattaya. Dave's a good bloke, worked for British Telecom for 25 years, got made redundant, took his severance and pension payout, and decided to spend a few months in Thailand to clear his head. He met a girl named Nin who worked in a bar. Within 3 months, she'd convinced him she loved him, that she wanted to quit bar work, that they could open a restaurant together if he invested in property. He bought a house in her village, £35,000, plus another £5,000 for restaurant equipment. Everything in her name because foreigners can't own property in Thailand. 2 weeks after the money cleared, Nin stopped answering his calls. The house was empty when he went to check. Neighbors said she'd moved back to Bangkok with her Thai boyfriend who'd been there the whole time. The restaurant equipment had been sold. Dave came home broke, humiliated, and broken. He's 52 years old, working security at Tesco now, living with his sister because he can't afford his own place anymore. I sat there listening to this story, drinking my pint, and I thought, how does this keep happening? How does smart men who've worked their entire lives, who aren't stupid, keep falling for the exact same scam? Then my other mate Graham told me his story. He'd lost £25,000 to a bar girl in Phuket. Same playbook: sick mother, struggling family, business opportunity, everything in her name, relationship ends the moment the money's gone. 2 mates, £65,000 combined, both completely destroyed emotionally and financially. And I thought, someone needs to actually document how this works. Not from the outside, not from forum posts and YouTube warnings, but from the inside. Someone needs to play the role these women expect, let them run their full game, and expose exactly how the scam operates. That someone was going to be me. A bit of background on me so you understand why I thought I could pull this off. I grew up in Salford, one of the rougher areas of Greater Manchester. My dad was a scaffolder. Mum worked at a betting shop. We didn't have money, but we had street smarts. You learn early how to read people, how to spot when someone's playing you, how to protect yourself. I'd worked logistics for a shipping company for 23 years, coordinating cargo, dealing with customs, managing suppliers from all over the world. You don't last in that job without learning when someone's lying to you about delivery dates or trying to inflate invoices. I'd been married once, divorced for 12 years, no kids. My ex-wife Linda left me for her personal trainer, cliché but true. Since then, I dated here and there. Nothing serious. I was comfortable being alone. In 2022, my company went through post-COVID downsizing. They offered voluntary redundancy packages. I was 49, tired of the job, and the severance was decent £45,000 plus my pension contribution payout. Combined with savings and a small inheritance from my nan who'd passed 2 years earlier, I had about £85,000. Not a fortune, but enough to take a year off, travel a bit, figure out what I wanted to do with the second half of my life. After hearing Dave and Graham's stories, I knew exactly where I was going. Pattaya, Thailand, the epicenter of the bar girl scam operation. But I wasn't going as a victim. I was going as an investigator. I spent 3 months preparing before I even booked a flight. I read every forum post, watched every YouTube video, studied the scam patterns. The stories were remarkably consistent. Week 1 to 2. Meet girl in bar. She's friendly and attentive, makes you feel special. You bar, fine her, pay the bar to take her out. She acts like a girlfriend. Week 3 to 4. She mentions family problems, sick mother, struggling father, child who needs school fees. She's not asking for money yet, just sharing her life. Week 5 to 6. Financial crisis emerges. She needs help. Usually £200 500 to start small enough that you feel generous but not scammed. Month 2 to 3. Requests escalate. Bigger emergencies. Talk of quitting bar work if she had security. Mentions of business opportunities or property investments. Month 4 to 6. The big ask. House, land, business investment. Everything goes in her name because of Thai property laws. Month 6 plus. If you haven't bought property, she might get pregnant. If you have bought property, she disappears, or the relationship ends, and you discover there's been a Thai boyfriend the whole time. The pattern was so consistent it might as well be a script, which made me think it probably is a script. These women are being coached, possibly by the Thai boyfriends, possibly by other experienced bar girls, on exactly how to extract maximum money from foreign men. I wanted to see it play out in real time. I wanted to document every step, and I wanted to see how long I could maintain the role before they realized I was onto them. So in January 2023, I flew to Bangkok, spent a few days getting oriented, then took the bus down to Pattaya. Pattaya is exactly what everyone says. It is neon lights, bars every 20 meters, thousands of foreign men walking around with Thai women half their age, music blasting from every direction. It's like Blackpool but tropical and way more overtly sexual. I found a decent hotel in South Pattaya. Nothing fancy, £20 a night, clean enough, air conditioning worked. I could afford much better with my savings, but I needed to look like a working-class bloke on a budget. Not broke, but not wealthy either. The sweet spot for these scams, enough money to be worth targeting, not so much that you seem suspicious. I settled in for a few days, watching, observing. I'd sit at street-side bars, drinking Chang beer, watching the dynamics. Foreign men, mostly 45 to 70 years old, from UK, Germany, America, Australia, Scandinavia. Thai women, mostly 25 to 35, dressed in tight clothes, high heels, full makeup, some sitting with men, feeding them, laughing loudly at everything they said, others prowling, looking for the next customer. The body language told you everything. The women who were genuinely interested in the men they were with, rare but it happened, looked relaxed, natural. The ones running a game had this performative quality. Too much touching, too much laughing, too much, "You so handsome, you so funny." After a week of observation, I decided it was time to become a participant. I chose Soy Buakaw, a street famous for beer bars and bar girls. Less touristy than Walking Street, more locals. I picked a small bar called Lucky Star. 4 or 5 girls working, decent-looking place, not too seedy. I sat down at the bar and ordered a Chang. Within 30 seconds, a girl appeared next to me. "Hello, where you from?" She was maybe 27. Pretty, slim, wearing denim shorts and a pink tank top. Her name tag said, "Honey." "England," I said. "Manchester? You been there?" "No, but I want to go. I hear Manchester very cold. You like Thailand?" "Love it. First time in Pattaya. My mate told me about it." "Your friend have good taste." She laughed too loud, too eager. "What you do in England?" "I worked in shipping. Just took redundancy. Thought I'd travel a bit before figuring out what's next." I watched her eyes calculate. Redundancy meant severance. Traveling meant money. Middle-aged. Alone. Recently unemployed. I was checking every box. "You want to buy me drink?" she asked with a practiced pout. "Course," I said. "What do you drink?" "Lady drink 120 baht." I ordered her drink. She scooted her stool closer, touched my arm when she talked, called me handsome man within 5 minutes. She asked if I had a girlfriend. I said no, been divorced 12 years, haven't found anyone special. "You seem like good man," she said, looking into my eyes with manufactured sincerity. Kind eyes. I smiled. Inside, I was taking notes. The script was already starting. We talked for 2 hours. She told me about growing up in Isan, the poor northeastern region, how she'd come to Pattaya to make money, sent most of it home to her family, how bar work was hard but necessary. She showed me a photo on her phone, a little boy, maybe 7 years old. Gap-toothed smile. "My son," she said. "He lived with my mother in village. I miss him every day." "Where's his father?" I asked. Her face fell perfectly timed sadness. "He leave when I pregnant. Thai man no good. Foreign man better, more loyal, more kind." I nodded sympathetically. Inside I was thinking, here we go. At the end of the night, I paid my bill about £15 total, including her drinks. As I stood to leave, she grabbed my hand. "You come back tomorrow? I work every night. I like talking to you." "Maybe," I said. "I'm here for a few weeks. I'll probably stop by." She looked briefly annoyed. She'd expected immediate commitment, but recovered with a bright smile. "Okay, I wait for you." I came back the next night, and the night after that. Each time, Honey acted like seeing me was the best part of her day. She'd sit with me for hours, barely paying attention to other customers. The bar owner didn't seem to mind. He knew the game. Keep the foreign guy coming back. Eventually, he'll bar fine her. Eventually, he'll spend real money. On the 3rd night, Honey asked if I wanted to bar fine her. "What's that?" I played dumb. She explained, "I pay the bar 500 baht, about 11 pounds, and she can leave with me for the night. We can go to dinner, walk on the beach, go back to my hotel, whatever I want." "It's not about sex," she said quickly. "I just like spending time with you. We can just talk if you want." "Right." I paid the 500 baht. We went to a Thai restaurant. I paid. We walked along the beach. She held my hand, leaned against me. We went back to my hotel. She made it clear sex was expected. I played along. It was performative on her end, lots of noise, exaggerated pleasure, telling me how good I was, exactly what a lonely man would want to hear. Afterward, she curled up next to me and said, "You different from other customers. You gentle. Most men just want sex and leave. You actually talk to me." I stroked her hair and said nothing. The script was unfolding exactly as predicted. Week 2, the sob story began. We were having dinner. I'd bar fined her 4 nights in a row by this point, spending about £60 70 per night between bar fees, meals, drinks. She seemed comfortable enough to start dropping the real pitch. "Can I ask you something serious?" she said, looking nervous. "Course. You think I'm bad person for working in bar?" "No. Why would I think that?" "Some men think bar girls are bad. But I don't like this work. I do it because I have to. For my son, for my family." "I don't judge you," I said. "Everyone's got to survive." She looked relieved. "You are good man, Craig. Most men don't understand." Then she started talking about her mother. Diabetes, couldn't afford good medicine, couldn't work anymore. Her father had died years ago, motorcycle accident. Her mother was struggling alone in the village, taking care of Honey's son. I send her money every month, Honey said. But medicine cost 5,000 baht every month. That's almost 120 pounds. It's so expensive. Some months I don't have enough. I worry about her. She wasn't asking for money. Not directly. She was just sharing her burden, making me aware of the problem, planting the seed. I nodded sympathetically. That's tough. You're a good daughter for taking care of her. I try, she said, but sometimes I'm so tired. Bar work every night, drunk men grabbing me, and I still can't save money. I want better life, but I don't know how. I squeezed her hand. You'll figure it out. You're strong, she smiled sadly. Inside, I knew she was frustrated. I hadn't taken the bait. I hadn't offered money, but she couldn't push too hard this early, or I'd smell the scam. The script required patience. Week 3. The first money request came. Honey called me one afternoon, crying, "Craig, I'm so sorry to bother you. I don't know what to do." What's wrong? My son's school. They need money for uniform and supplies. 15,000 baht. I don't have it. If I don't pay by Friday, he can't go to school. I'm so embarrassed. I don't want to ask you, but I don't know who else to ask. 15,000 baht. About 350 pounds. First real test. I played it perfectly. I sounded concerned, conflicted. Honey, I want to help, but that's a lot of money. I'm not working right now. I'm living on my savings. I know, I'm so sorry. I will pay you back. Maybe I can work extra shifts, save money. What if I gave you 5,000 baht for now? I said. Would that help? She went quiet. I could practically hear her recalculating. She'd asked for 15. I'd offered 5. Not ideal for her, but it proved I was willing to give money. The door was open. Yes, she said finally. Yes, that would help so much. Thank you, Craig. You are my hero. I met her that evening and gave her 5,000 baht in cash, about 115 pounds. She hugged me tightly, kissed my cheek, called me her savior. That night, I didn't go back to my hotel. I followed her. Honey left the bar around 11 p.m. I waited 5 minutes, then followed at a distance. She walked to Swa 7, about a 10-minute walk, and entered another beer bar called Sexy Girls. I found a spot across the street at a 7-Eleven, bought a Chang, and watched. Honey sat down next to a German guy, maybe 60, bald, sunburned. Within minutes she was laughing, touching his arm, doing the same routine she'd done with me. He bought her drinks. They talked for 2 hours. At 1 a.m., he paid her bar fine, and they left together. I finished my beer and went back to my hotel. The next day, I started asking around. Pattaya has a tight-knit expat community, if you know where to look. The old-timers, the guys who've lived there for years, they know everything. I found a British expat named Colin at a coffee shop. He'd been in Pattaya for 12 years, ran a small tour guide business, knew all the bars and most of the girls. You know a girl named Honey from Lucky Star? I asked. Over coffee? Colin laughed. Honey? Yeah, I know her. You involved with her? Just curious. Friend of mine is bar finding her regularly. Tell your mate to run, Colin said. Honey's professional. Been working Swai Buakau for 6 years. She's got a Thai boyfriend, Lek, motorbike mechanic. They've been together 5 years. The kid's probably his. She's got other customers? At least 4 or 5 foreigners sending her money every month. One in Germany, one in Australia, one in America, maybe more. Plus whoever's bar finding her in Pattaya. She rotates them, tells each one he's special, keeps them all on the hook. How much does she make? Colin shrugged. Between bar fines, lady drinks, and money transfers from abroad, maybe 2,000 pounds, 3,000 a month, more than a Thai doctor. And she's not even one of the top earners. Some girls pull 5,000 pounds, 6,000 monthly. The sick mother story? Classic script. Half the girls use it. Mother's diabetes medicine, father's motorcycle repair, buffalo died, little brother needs school fees, all variations of the same con. The families are in on it. They get a cut. I bought Colin another coffee and took notes. Everything he said confirmed what I'd suspected. This wasn't a lone woman scamming for survival. This was an organized system with multiple income streams and a Thai boyfriend managing operations. I decided to dig deeper. Over the next month, I played the perfect mark. I continued bar finding Honey 3 or 4 nights a week. I listened to her stories, gave her small amounts of money when she asked, usually 3,000 to 5,000 baht, about 70 pounds 115 each time. The requests followed a predictable pattern. Week 4. Motorbike broke down, needed 4,000 baht for repairs. Week 5. Mother's medicine was more expensive this month, needed extra 3,000 baht. Week 6. Wanted to send money home for Songkran Festival, needed 6,000 baht. Each time, I gave her about half of what she asked for. Enough to keep her interested, not enough to seem like an unlimited ATM. And each time, I documented everything. I kept a spreadsheet of every baht I gave her, every story she told, every inconsistency. Meanwhile, I was doing my own investigation. I hired a motorcycle taxi driver named Sum who spoke good English and knew the bar scene inside out. I paid him 1,000 baht a day, about 23 pounds, to follow Honey and report back. What Sum discovered was fascinating. Honey lived with her boyfriend Lek in a rented room near Sukhumvit Road. Small place, about 100 pounds a month. Every morning, Lek would leave for work at a motorcycle shop. Honey would sleep until noon, then go shopping, get her nails done, meet friends for lunch. Her son didn't live with her. He stayed with her mother in Surin province, about 7 hours away. Honey visited maybe once every 2 months. She had a rotation schedule. Monday and Tuesday, she worked Lucky Star, targeting new customers. Wednesday and Thursday, she'd meet up with her regulars, guys she'd already hooked who'd send her money via bank transfer. Friday and Saturday, she'd work different bars, sometimes Soy 7, sometimes Walking Street, maximizing her exposure. Sunday was her day off spent with Lek and her bar girl friends. Some followed her to the post office one day. She picked up 3 Western Union transfers, one from Germany, 300 euros, one from Australia, AU$ 400, one from America, $500. About 800 pounds total in one day. She also had Thai bank accounts where men transferred money directly. Some couldn't see those balances, but based on her lifestyle, new phone, designer bag, expensive dinners with Lek, she was doing very well. Meanwhile, she was still crying to me about being broke and struggling. Week 7. Honey suggested we take a trip together. I want to show you my village, she said. I want you to meet my mother, see my real life. You are important to me, Craig. I want you to know real me. This was the next phase. Take me to the village. Introduce me to the family. Make it feel real. Once I met her mother, once I saw the poverty firsthand, the big requests would come. Property, land, a house for the family. I agreed. We took a bus to Surin province, 7 hours north. The village was exactly what you'd expect. Dirt roads, wooden houses, rice fields, roosters and dogs everywhere. Proper rural Thailand. Her mother's house was small but not desperate. Concrete walls, tin roof, running water, electricity. The kid Tong was there, shy, polite, spoke a bit of English. He called Honey May Mother. Her mother greeted me warmly, cooked a huge meal. She didn't speak English, but Honey translated. The mother asked about England, about my work, whether I liked Thailand, normal grandmother questions. Then Honey showed me around the village, pointing out the problems. Her mother's house needed a new roof, 20,000 baht. Her aunt needed money for medical bills, 15,000 baht. The village temple was raising money for renovations, donations welcome. I nodded along, played the sympathetic foreign boyfriend, didn't commit to anything. That night, lying on a thin mattress in her mother's house, Honey said, "Do you ever think about future, Craig? About settling down?" "Sometimes," I said. "I think about it a lot. I'm tired of bar work. I want to be proper mother to Tong. I want simple life, house, family, peace." "What would that take?" "Not much. Maybe small house here in village, 200,000 baht, maybe 250,000. I could stop working. I could take care of mother, raise Tong properly. We could be happy." 200,000 to 250,000 baht, about 4,600 pounds, 5,800. The big ask. I pretended to think about it. "That's a lot of money, Honey. I need to think about it." She looked disappointed, but hid it quickly. "Of course. I'm not asking now. Just thinking about future." The trap was set. She'd planted the seed. Now she'd nurture it over the coming weeks, building urgency. creating reasons why it needed to happen soon. But I already knew I wasn't buying a house. I was just gathering data. Week 8, I decided it was time to close my investigation. I'd seen enough. I'd documented the full scam life cycle from first contact to the property request. I had spreadsheets, photos, witness statements from Soam and other expats. I had one last meeting with Honey. I took her to a nice restaurant, air conditioning, tablecloths, the works. She dressed up in a tight black dress and heels, probably expecting me to finally commit to buying property or giving her a large sum of money. We ordered food. I made small talk. Then, over spring rolls, I smiled and said, "So, I met your boyfriend Lek yesterday. Nice bloke. Fixed my mate's scooter. Does good work." Honey's chopstick stopped mid-air. Her face went pale. I continued, keeping my tone friendly. "Also spoke to Colin and some of the other expats. They told me about your rotation, the German guy, the Aussie, the American. Plus me. That's quite a few men sending you money every month." She tried to recover. Her eyes started watering. "Craig, I can explain." "No need, love. I know exactly what this is. I've known from day one." Her face shifted from fake sadness to confusion to something harder. "You knew? Course I knew. I'm from Salford, honey. I've been reading people like you since I was 12 years old. My mates got scammed by girls just like you, lost their life savings. I came here specifically to see how it works." She stared at me. You were testing me?" "Documenting, more like, you're good, I'll give you that. The sick mother, the struggling son, the village visit, all very convincing. But it's a script. You're running it on 4 or 5 men right now, aren't you?" She didn't answer. Her face was hard now, all the sweetness gone. "How much did you give me?" she asked coldly. "About 30,000 baht. Call it 700 pounds. That's my research budget. Worth every penny." She looked furious, but also slightly impressed. "Why? Why you do this?" "Because men need to know how it works. They need to understand they're not special. They're not different. They're just the next mark in the rotation. Maybe if enough blokes see the pattern, they'll stop losing their life savings." I paid for dinner. I stood up to leave. "You are asshole," she said. "Probably," I agreed. "But I'm an asshole with 85,000 pounds still in the bank. Can't say the same for my mates you've already worked over." I left her sitting there. I spent the next 6 months in Pattaya documenting other scams. I'd learned the basic bar girl rotation, but there were variations and other schemes running simultaneously. The sick buffalo scam. 3 different women in different bars told me almost identical stories about a family buffalo dying. The buffalo cost 50,000 baht to replace. The family couldn't farm without it. Please help. The stories were word for word identical, clearly being taught by someone. The gold shop scheme. Women would convince men to buy gold as an investment or engagement gift. Thai gold is 96.5% pure, sold by weight. A man would buy 2 to 3 baht of gold, about 2,000 pounds, 3,000 thinking it was a safe investment. The woman would immediately pawn it at 70% of value and split the cash with her boyfriend. The land investment scam. Similar to what happened to my mate Dave. Women push men to buy land as an investment. Land always increases in value. Buy now, sell in 5 years, double your money. Everything goes in her name because foreigners can't own land. Relationship ends shortly after purchase. She keeps everything. The motorcycle shop scam. Women suggest opening a motorcycle repair shop or laundry service. Foreign man invests 10,000 pounds, 20,000 inches equipment and deposits. Business is registered in her name. Business fails within months. Equipment gets sold. Money disappears. The baby trap. Some women deliberately get pregnant to lock in long-term financial support. Foreign father feels morally obligated to support mother and child for 18+ years. I met 3 men sending 300 pounds 500 monthly to support children they'd only seen a handful of times. The sophistication of these operations was remarkable. These weren't desperate women making it up as they went along. They were following tested systems, sharing techniques, supporting each other, and in many cases being coached by Thai boyfriends who managed the entire operation. I also documented the red flags that should make any man walk away immediately. Week 1 red flags. She approached you first, not vice versa. Physical affection escalated immediately. Hand-holding, kissing, calling you boyfriend within day. S. She said you're different from other customers. She mentioned having a child within the first few conversations. She discouraged you from talking to other expats or learning Thai. Month 1 red flags. Sick relative story appeared. Mother, father, grandmother, always in expensive chronic condition. She started calling you when you weren't in Pattaya. She asked how long you're staying in Thailand. She mentioned wanting to quit bar work but needing money. Security first. She showed jealousy strategically but never genuine emotional vulnerability. Month 2-3 red flags. Financial requests started appearing. She suggested you meet her family. She mentioned wanting to open a business. She discouraged you from visiting her home unannounced. Her phone was always face down or angled away. She had ready excuses for any inconsistency in her stories. Month 4 plus red flags. She pushed for property or land purchases. She mentioned wanting a house for her family. She suggested gold as an investment. She talked about getting pregnant or stopped using contraception. Other bar girls seemed to know her routine and covered for her. She had an ex-boyfriend or friend who was still very present in her life. Any one of these is a warning sign. Multiple red flags together mean you're being played. After 8 months in Pattaya, I'd spent about £8,000 total accommodation, food, drinks, the £700 I gave Honey, research expenses, paying Sam to follow people. I'd documented dozens of scams, interviewed 30-plus bar girls and expats, and compiled a comprehensive database of how these operations work. My original £85,000 was intact. I'd lost nothing emotionally because I'd never believed it was real. I'd gone in with my eyes open and came out exactly as I'd planned. But here's what disturbed me. Even knowing it was all fake, even documenting every manipulation technique, I still found myself occasionally thinking, what if Honey actually did like me a little bit? What if some of it was real? That's how good these women are. They create just enough ambiguity, just enough genuine-seeming moments, that even men who know better start questioning their own judgment. If I, someone who went in specifically looking for the scam, could have those doubts, imagine how easy it is for a lonely, recently divorced man who genuinely wants to believe someone loves him. I'm back in England now. I'm considering starting a YouTube channel or blog to share what I learned. Not to shame the women they're surviving in an economy where the average wage is £350 a month, but to educate men who are walking into these situations blind. Because here's what I want you to understand. This isn't about bad women preying on innocent men. This is about an economic system where poverty pushes women into transactional relationships, and loneliness pushes men into believing those transactions are love. The women aren't evil. They're running a business. Bar work in Pattaya can earn them £2,000, £5,000 a month, 10 times what they'd make in a factory or rice field. Of course they're going to do it. Of course they're going to perfect the techniques. Of course they're going to teach each other and share strategies. And the men aren't stupid. They're lonely. They're invisible in their home countries. They're tired of dating apps where women their age aren't interested. They go to Thailand, and suddenly beautiful 27-year-old women are paying attention to them, calling them handsome, making them feel desired for the first time in decades. That feeling is intoxicating. It's addictive. And it's expensive. The tragedy is that both sides are being honest about what they want. The women want money. The men want affection, but they're both pretending it's something more. She pretends she loves him. He pretends he doesn't know she's performing. And that mutual delusion costs men their life savings. Here's my advice if you're thinking about going to Thailand or if you're already there. First, assume every woman who approaches you in a bar is working. Even if she's not officially employed there, even if she's just a customer, she's probably looking for a sponsor. Second, if you want short-term companionship, bar, fine, girls, and enjoy it for what it is, a transaction. Pay for her time. Enjoy her company. Don't pretend it's a relationship. Don't give extra money beyond the agreed amount. Don't believe sob stories. Don't meet families. Third, if you want an actual relationship, don't look in bars. Meet women through work, through hobbies, through mutual friends. Date women with careers and education who don't need your money. Learn Thai so you can communicate independently. Fourth, never, and I mean never, put significant money into property, businesses, or investments in someone else's name. Thai law offers you zero protection. If the relationship ends, you lose everything. Fifth, if multiple red flags appear early, walk away. Don't think you're different. Don't think your situation is special. You're not. It's not. You're following a script she's performed hundreds of times. Sixth, join expat forums. Talk to long-term residents. Learn from men who've been there for years. They've seen every scam variation. They can spot the red flags you're too love-struck to notice. Seventh, keep your money in your home country. Only keep what you need for monthly expenses in Thai accounts. Never give access to your bank accounts or credit cards. The most important thing I learned in Pattaya isn't about bar girls or scams. It's about loneliness. Every man I met who'd been scammed, every single one was profoundly lonely, divorced, widowed, retired, isolated. They'd stopped mattering to anyone back home. Their kids were busy with their own lives. Their friends had drifted away. They felt invisible. Then they went to Thailand, and beautiful women paid attention to them, made them feel seen, made them feel important, and they were willing to pay almost any price to keep that feeling. The scam works not because the women are particularly clever, though they are, but because the men are so desperate for connection that they'll ignore every warning sign, rationalize every inconsistency, and believe obvious lies because the alternative is admitting they're alone. That's the real tragedy here. Not the money, though losing 40,000 pounds is devastating, but the loneliness that drives men to throw away their life savings for performed affection. If you're lonely, fix that at home. Join clubs, volunteer, see a therapist, take up hobbies, rebuild social connections. Don't go to Thailand thinking a 27-year-old bar girl will fill the void in your life. She won't. She'll just charge you to pretend she does. I sometimes wonder about Honey. Is she still working, Lucky Star? Is she still running the same routine on German and Australian and American guys? Has she actually saved enough money to quit? Does she ever feel guilty? Probably not. She's just doing her job. And to be fair, I never actually lied to her. I just didn't volunteer information. She assumed I was the naive mark she could play. I let her make that assumption. In a way, we were both running experiments on each other. She was testing how much she could extract. I was testing how far she'd take it. The difference is, I went in knowing it was an experiment. She thought she was running a scam. And that's the knowledge I'm offering you now. Go in with your eyes open, or don't go in at all. My name is Craig Ellison. I'm 49 years old. I spent 8 months in Pattaya playing the role of the naive foreigner while documenting one of the most efficient scam ecosystems I've ever seen. I spent 8,000 pounds on research and came home with 77,000 pounds and complete understanding of how these operations work. More importantly, I came home not broken, not bitter, not financially destroyed like my mates Dave and Graham. Because I went in skeptical and came out vindicated. I knew it was a game from day one and I played my part perfectly. But most men don't have that luxury. They go in hoping for love and come out destroyed. Don't be like my mates. Don't believe the performance. Don't think you're special. Don't lose your life savings to someone who's running the same script on 4 other men simultaneously. The bar girls in Pattaya aren't monsters. They're professionals. Respect them enough to see them for what they are, not girlfriends, not soulmates, not women who will love you forever, but women who are exceptionally good at their job, and their job is separating lonely foreign men from their money. Trust me on that. I paid 700 pounds to watch it happen up close. And unlike my mates Dave and Graham, I came home with my money, my dignity, and a detailed understanding of exactly how you're being played. That's worth more than any performed love story in a Pattaya beer bar.